it's less about do X, Y, and Z, and it's more about how to think and how to approach it and how to reach for a different perspective that's more empowering. And so when I'm paying to be in spaces with mentors, that's what I'm most interested in is how did they think? How did they approach something? What was their thought process? How were they feeling when they did it? What aligned actions did they take? Not because I want to copy their actions, but I just want to understand and like piece together the behind the scenes. Today's episode is one that I'm equal parts nervous and excited to share. In full transparency, I've been avoiding recording this for probably a couple weeks. My podcast producer keeps asking me like, are you going to record that part? And I keep saying, just go to the next guest interview that we've already done because I haven't been ready. But it's like being 9 months pregnant. And there's a part of you that just is so ready to give birth. And there's a part of you that's, but when I give birth, then I have to figure out how to take care of a baby. So it's like you both want it to happen and there's the unknown on the other side. And to some degree, that's like how I've been feeling about this. But before I share exactly what it is, hi, I'm Emily June Wilcox, and I am the host of The Joyous Path to Millions. We are a top 2% global podcast with the mission of helping heart-centered humans to heal their money wounds, make bank in their businesses, and walk the joyous path to millions, creating more passive income, more time freedom, more financial freedom to really pursue things that feel like joy and creativity and passion. And when we do that, we change the vibration of the entire planet. So we've got more people walking around doing things because they want to and they enjoy it rather than they have to and they're forced to. And that is a massive difference. So that is what I am here for. That's what this podcast is all about. Thank you so much for being here and tuning in. So if you've been a listener for a while, probably for at least a year, if not longer, have been dedicating one episode a month to, in essence, a monthly recap. So I've shared like the highlights from that month, the stretches, the things that came up that were unexpected, that weren't so great, the lessons that I extracted from them. And then I've shared money, like how much money came into the different businesses. And that felt really important because when I initially started this podcast, I was just like craving spaces where people talked openly and transparently about money. And I kept finding myself in spaces where they were business spaces and people were paying money to mastermind and that kind of thing. And they were still dancing around the topic of money. And it still wasn't being just discussed with the level of directness that I felt was important. And we can't heal our money wounds if we don't talk about money. So having open and transparent conversations around money is very important to the mission of this work. And that will continue. And that's a thread that you see in all of the interviews that I do with guests. And when I screen guests, I make sure they know that we're going to have open and transparent conversation around money. And they have to agree to that in order to come on the show. So that is and will always be a part of what we're doing here. And I have really been feeling this pull to go deeper with you. And it's felt like in order for us to go to the depth and the intimacy level and the energetic exchange that I'm craving, that it needs to be in a different container. And so I was practicing a little bit doing it here through the podcast where I was doing more solo episodes that were a little bit more like a riff kind of a style. But I found that because I knew I was recording them for this show, there was still like a level of formality. Not that I'm super formal here, clearly, but like I was still using my fancy microphone and my headphones and I needed to be sitting down at my desk. And what I really wanted was to be able to share more unfiltered, more off the cuff, like true, like channeled transmissions, true, like in the moment learnings and reactions to things so that you could get a glimpse into how I think how I move, what I'm feeling, and apply that in whatever way makes sense into your life and into your business. I find containers like that so fascinating. And it's like the longer I'm in business, or I think even for people that aren't business owners, it's like you don't really want somebody else to tell you how to live your life or what decisions you should make. It's less about do X, Y, and Z, and it's more about how to think and how to approach it and how to reach for a different perspective that's more empowering. And so when I'm paying to be in spaces with mentors, that's what I'm most interested in is how did they think? How did they approach something? What was their thought process? How were they feeling when they did it? What aligned actions did they take? Not because I want to copy their actions, but I just want to understand and like piece together the behind the scenes. And the other thing I know to be true, and Abraham Hicks talks about this, is we are energetic beings first and foremost. And so we are excellent at reading and translating energy. In fact, we're so excellent at it that we don't even know we're doing it. And thus, we don't even think we do it. But it's like the reason we don't think we do it is because there is such a level of mastery that there's no consideration needed. It's like how often during the course of a day do you think about how good you are at circulating blood to all of your organs? Probably never, not because you're not circulating blood to your organs, but because you're so excellent at it that it doesn't even require any thought or any consideration that you're doing it. You just do it. And the same is true with the way that we read energy. And so when we're in these spaces where we get to understand how someone thinks and feel how they were feeling and have this energetic exchange, it actually changes us too. And so when it's done in like high frequency, in a vibration of service and love and learning and inspiration, and with the intention of there being great transformation, that's exactly what occurs. And it occurs effortlessly in a way because you didn't have to consciously decide to absorb my energy and absorb my perspective and start feeling better. It's just the natural outcome. You naturally start feeling more inspired. You naturally start feeling more optimistic. Mind naturally starts looking for evidence that things are going right, that things are working out for you, that you are on mission, that you're doing your soul's work, that you're aligned to your higher self, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so all of this to say, I've decided to take that kind of content and put it into a private podcast feed. The cool thing about this is you get me in your ears more regularly and in a different way. There are no guest interviews in this private podcast feed. You will never hear this audio quality. I record them as voice memos on my phone. I do them when I'm out for walks. I do them when I'm driving because those are the natural moments when I channel and when the best information comes through. And it feels so pure to be able to just hit record on a voice memo and just riff and know that if a car is driving by or you hear my turn signal or whatever, like none of that matters. What matters is causing transformation. And so this private podcast feed is called Soul Mission. And I'm going to have us splice in the first episode of Soul Mission. So you'll hear more about my why, but from a different perspective. And so you can tap into the different vibe of this transmission. And I hope you love it as much as I do. I know it's not meant for everyone, but for those that feel really zingy, if you feel an energy coursing through your body as you're listening, know that is the same energy that I feel every time I record one of these episodes, one of these transmissions. And it feels so exciting to be announcing this and bringing this into the world. Before we go into that episode, I also just want to share logistically, it means that I'm not going to be doing as many solo episodes here on the Joyous Path to Millions. And never say never. Like one thing I've learned is that go through iterations and things that feel good for a while, then maybe don't, and then do again, and who knows? So it's my podcast. I'll do what I want. We'll see. Like, things can change. But what I'm really seeing right now is that there will be fewer solo episodes here because I'm going to be recording at least 12 transmissions a month for Soul Mission. And I'm committed to bringing in like really next level interviews and conversations onto the Joyous Path to Millions. And part of that commitment means that I am dropping the commitment of releasing an episode every week. I'm still holding that loose intention. So if we have an interview that we've done, if there's something to share, we'll share it and it will still be on Tuesdays. But I'm not going to force anything. I'm not going to book an interview that doesn't feel like a hell yes in my body. I'm not going to record a solo episode because we just need something and we have to release it on Tuesday. No, I would rather just skip a week and hold the commitment to the quality and the absolute expansiveness of the conversations that are taking place here on the Joyous Path to Millions. So this episode is one part informing you of what's happening, and then the other part inviting you into Soul Mission and allowing you the opportunity for even more depth and intimacy and transformation with me in this way. So check out the first episode. Hello, beautiful, and welcome to Soul Mission. I am so thrilled that you're here. I'm so thrilled that I'm recording this, and I wanted to set some intentions with you. My intention for recording and creating this private podcast was that you and I would feel like we are in intimate conversation, like we're business besties, and I'm sharing the behind the scenes of my 6 and 7 figure businesses, letting you know what's working, what feels alive, what I'm inspired by, and that the energy is contagious. My intention is that every time you tune in, the moment you hear my voice, you feel empowered. You feel an exhale, a softening, a relaxing, a trusting, knowing that it's all working for you, that it's all happening, that you're on track for your soul's mission, and that after the conclusion of each episode, you feel more alive, more energized, more excited to dive back into your life and your business, your creative endeavors. My intention is that you are happy with this podcast, that you're satisfied with it over time, that you get such tremendous value, such a tremendous return on investment, that it just keeps paying for itself over and over and over again, that you're delighted to be in this space, that you find yourself talking about and sharing this incredible transmission with others, telling them about it so that they can sign up and be a part of it as well. And that we really build intimate community of entrepreneurs, creatives, visionaries who want to be in alignment with their soul mission. I know, and you know, that you came here to have this human experience for a reason. And that when you take actions that are aligned with your higher self, that are on mission with the wisest part of you, with what your soul feels that you are meant to do here, that it feels good, it feels right, it feels true. And often it feels in flow, and there's an ease in the way that things unfold because you're going with the current. You're not fighting against it. You're not trying to swim upstream. And so my intention for Soul Mission is that you feel more connected and more alive and more on mission with each and every episode that you tune into. That this is your favorite place to go when you need a little reminder, when you want to plug into juicy, delicious, alive energy that leaves you feeling inspired and motivated. So those are my intentions for this space. And I created it because I was craving more off the cuff conversation with you. To be able to speak to like the individual, the person on the other side. And when I record my public podcast, a lot of times I feel like I'm talking to a lot of people. It almost feels more like a workshop or an online summit or speaking from stage. And I really love that energy. But there's something different about imagining that I'm just talking to you. And I find that in a lot of sweet little moments throughout the day and throughout the weeks, when I have a breakthrough, I go to my phone and I'm wanting to send a little Voxer voice memo to, one of my business besties to say like, here's what I'm so excited about. Here's what feels so alive for me. Here's the breakthrough that I just had. And when I think about bottling all of that up, it's thousands and thousands of dollars worth of really valuable insights and lessons, and beyond like the tactical and tangible, it's like when we're in close proximity to someone who's having a breakthrough and is feeling enthusiastic, that transfers to us naturally. We naturally feel more excited and more enthusiastic, and like breakthroughs are more available for us as well. And so it just felt right. And it felt so exciting to think about having a way for you and I to be in conversation like this together in the same way that I am with those business besties when I pick up the phone and I start a Telegram or a Voxer voice note. And that this gets to have a far more profound impact. And that really lights me up. I will also say that I am in a community and in a space like this with Andrea Crowder. It's called Legend in the Making, and I really enjoy it. And over time, it's like one of my favorite things to tune into. Just when I'm putting on makeup in the morning or getting ready for the day, or making kids lunches or doing dishes or whatever, like just those sweet moments where you don't really want to do any heavy lifting or like any really hard thinking, but you also don't just want to be scrolling on social media or doing something that feels meaningless or like it might actually bring down your mood. I found that being able to tune into these short little transmissions has been so valuable. And I've started to feel like, I really know Andrea, and I really feel that I'm in relationship with her. And so that you heard that come through in my intentions for this show as well, that you and I be in relationship, that this be one of your favorite spaces, that you're excited when there are new transmissions and you can't wait to listen to them and you get great value out of them. So welcome, welcome, welcome to Soul Mission. Thank you for being here. And I'm so excited for what's ahead. I love, love, love recording these transmissions. I've already done like 5 or 6 of them. I already have a handful of beta users who are listening to them. And it just feels so right and so correct and so on mission for me. So if you're feeling the zing, I invite you to join me. We will put a link in the show notes. Now, Soul Mission is $47 a month subscription. Normally, I will be giving a 3-day free trial so people can just like tune in and make sure that it's for them before the subscription kicks in. But for you guys who have been listening to this podcast for some time and are my ride or die, you get to be a beta tester if you would like. And that means that you get 30 days free access to Soul Mission. And then after the 30 days, the $47 per month will kick in. And just so we're super clear on my intention is that you're getting like 1,000 times ROI on that investment, that it's the investment that you are so excited to see show up in your bank statement every month, that it feels like you're getting thousands and thousands of dollars of coaching in your pocket when you want it most on your schedule without adding another thing to your calendar. And you're paying less than you pay for your internet, less than you pay for your cell phone, less than you pay for so many things in life, and certainly way less than the high proximity coaching spaces that cost like thousands of dollars a month. That's my vibe, my vision, and my intention for Soul Mission, and I invite you to join me. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of this movement and for making the Joyous Path to Millions a top 2% global podcast. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for listening to today's show. Changing the way that we think, feel, and talk about money is up-leveling the planet. I truly believe that. The ripple effect starts with you tuning in, and it spreads when you share this show on Instagram and Facebook. You can tag me at mmakesmoney. And you know what moves the needle the most? Taking just a minute to leave a 5-star review on iTunes. This show isn't free to produce, so let's multiply those dollars invested and help this show reach a bigger audience each week. So thank you in advance for your help. I really appreciate it. And until next time, I'm sending you all the magic money vibes on your joyous path to millions.